Leak after leak after leak. Oh, jeez. Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 has been nothing short of a disaster when it comes to not spoiling your entire game before it's released. Like, who's in charge over there? What is happening? Like, they need to get their poop in a group. Like, seriously. Like, let me put it this way. Another major disaster just happened just the other day when a 30-minute gameplay clip showing off a ton of the game was put out into the world. And while it showed off quite a bit of the game, it also ended up confirming something truly awful for the game. What is that awful thing? Well, I will dive into that in just a few moments. But in the meantime, let's take a look at some of the screenshots from this leaked video. Let's do it. Here's the first screenshot. This is of the main menu, which I will say actually looks pretty pleasant. Looks pretty crisp, very clean, if you will. So you got the three characters in the middle, obviously, SpongeBob, El Tigre, and Aang. Over on the right-hand side, you got your menu. You got battle, online, campaign, single player, exit the game. Up top, you got your play, extra, your news. So overall, it looks pretty cool. And if anybody's wondering, you see those like action lines that are coming off of Aang, El Tigre, and SpongeBob. They are actually moving across the screen. Well, I mean, they're stationary, but it's kind of like they're flying through space sort of deal. So they kind of have those action lines flying off them. So it looks better than the screenshot does justice. But in terms of the main menu screen, actually not too bad. Looks pretty clean. I like it. I do like it. Screenshot number 2 is of the actual character select screen itself. Now, okay, this is where the truly awful thing got confirmed. I've made a few videos on this, and there were still a lot of people that were kind of wary about the whole thing, and I understand. Until you get hard confirmation, until you see it for yourselves, you might not want to believe it, so I don't blame anybody for that. But as we can see from the roster, once we count out all the characters, there are 25 total characters for base roster. Keep in mind, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 1 had 25 characters. So we didn't get any additions to the roster. We only got replacement characters. They took away all our fan favorites. They took away Powdered Toast Man. They took away Cat Dog. They took away Hugh Neutron, Oblina, Helga. And you can say whatever you want about those characters. Some people might say, hey, the characters, some of them were not even needed for. That's not the point. And the point being why this is truly awful, why them confirming those 11 cuts from the first game. Why is that bad? Because they still haven't officially come out and given us a statement. Nickelodeon hasn't said nothing. Fair Play hasn't said nothing. Ludosity hasn't said nothing. Maybe they can't. Maybe they're trying to avoid anything negative, but cat's out of the bag at this point. So you might as well. They should have come out straight out right at the beginning and said, hey, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 is a game. It's a sequel, but there will be roster cuts. If they would have told us that straight from the beginning, this would be a lot more easy to digest. Instead of less than a month before the game comes out, and it kind of feels like they're being a little bit sneaky, doesn't it? Like they do not want to tell us about the 11 roster cuts because they know how bad this will go over with the fans. As an example, here's just a couple tweets from people that were reacting to this news, like this one right here. Yeah, the first roster was way better. Okay, that's kind of subjective, right? Some people like the new roster. Overall, it's still 25 characters. Again, no additions, only replacements, essentially. So there's that. What about this tweet? How do you add the 2 missing turtles, but then remove the original 2 turtles from the first game? It's just so... It doesn't make sense. Half the team? Like, LeMayo, what's going on? Like, yeah, a ton of people were asking for all 4 turtles, and then, we still only have 2. What happened to the other 2? Oh, we got the other 2, but then they replaced the first 2. Like, kind of strange. How about this one right here? I think Hugh pisses me off the most, since we all begged for him and got him at the game's worst point, only for him to not be included in the sequel. Also sad, Powdered Toast Man didn't make the cut either. Don't know April got in over Shredder or, the other 2 turtles. I mean, there's a lot of people that are very, very tied to certain characters. There will be people that will buy a game like this for certain characters. Like, for example, check out this tweet. They cut Shredder never mind, I'm not buying this one. Now, some people might say this is kind of an overreaction, and to that I would say this really is not an overreaction. If you're gonna buy something and you really want to, if there's a reason you're buying it, I want to play as Shredder. He was in the first game, and for some reason they're just not gonna put him in the sequel. Well, and they're not gonna even tell us about it. That's what makes it even worse. They're not gonna tell us anything about it. They're just going to hope that we would wake up launch day, go to the store, buy it, or download it, whatever. And then we just have to find out for ourselves that they kept this secret from us. Yeah, this is not a good look. Again, they should have just said something right at the beginning. Hey, there will be roster cuts. And, you know, it would have at least softened the blow. But they didn't take that route. They decided to kind of hide this information from us, so it's not a good feeling. It's definitely not a good feeling. Now, in terms of getting back to the leak, sorry, went on a little bit of a tangent right there, but here's another screenshot, and this is from the stage select screen. So as we can see, what do we got? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 25, 26 stages look to be playable for the, playable stages. Yeah, there you go. 26 characters, 26 stages, 25 characters, but as we can see, the grayed out one kind of at the bottom, that appears to be like a training stage. But if we look at the top of the screen, we will notice there seems to be different symbols. Like there's one with 3 platforms, there's 2 platforms, there's like 2 mini platforms, and so like what's going on with that? Well, luckily with this next screenshot, we basically get to see what that is, and that is where the stage variations come into play. So I don't know if it's each stage, because as we see from this one, excuse me, but yeah, as we can see here, it appears is that only 6 stages, maybe 7, at least 6 that can only be used in whatever this form of stage is. So will every stage have a battlefield? If you play Smash Bros, you'll know what battlefield stages are, but will every stage have battlefield variants? Will every stage have Final Destination variants? Well, I didn't get those screenshots, so we'll kind of have to wait and see, but at least we got tons of stages to play with, and we got variants of those stages, which is cool. You know, if you're into the competitive tournament scene, that's great for you. More competitively balanced stages are always a good thing, but you also have to have some wacky kind of strange fun stages, if you will. So that's it for that. But overall, the game leaked. Not surprised. Kind of bummed about it myself. It would have been nice. Do I want roster cuts? Hell no. But if they would have told us about it at the beginning, sure, then this wouldn't be such a big deal. But again, the fact that they're kind of hiding this and they will not mention it, or again, maybe they're not allowed to, which even sounds even weirder. Like, why would you hide this? Like, just be upfront. Just tell your fans, tell your community. They're gonna be upset. Like, I already showed those tweets. There's people that are not buying this game. I interacted with quite a few people on Twitter yesterday, or X, whatever it's called. I interacted with quite a few people that were saying, yeah, they're not buying the game anymore because they cut 11 characters, or they cut 2 characters that they made in the first game. Like, we have attachments to special characters. We have attachments to certain things about this game, and when those attachments get removed from the game, that special feeling goes away, and it's kind of like, did we kind of get burned in the first game with the price and the overall content and no voice acting at the beginning? There was no proper sound effects for these moves. Like, some people would say, yeah, you got burned in the first game. And I can see why they'd be hesitant to buy the second game, especially when they're still hiding information from us, like roster cuts.